Hello friends and welcome to Out of Pocket. My name is Ryan, aka Ron, and today we're looking at another tasty tier.
Tasty tiers,
So today is Stage 1 EX Pokemon. If you watched one of my shorts recently, you might not be in for a surprise, but at least for some of it. Or if you watched my last math video, you also might not be super surprised. That said, let's get into it. Alright, before we jump in, it is time, without further ado, to begin the naming of our tier list. Last time on the basic EX tier list, we did some very basic tier list names. This time, we're talking about Stage 1 EX, so I'm doing some puns on the stage. I don't know what I'm planning to do for Stage 2 yet, but we'll see. Anyway, our first tier list is the main attraction. And yes, there is one Pokemon, and again, if you've seen my short, this ain't a spoiler. Well, it is a spoiler. All right, moving on to A tier, we got the protagonists. Now, whether that's more of a theater thing or a movie thing, whatever, you decide, but that's our A tier. Moving on to B, we got the supporting characters. That is our middle of the road B tier, the supporting characters. Need all those good supporting characters in a good play, in a good stage production, in the theater. All right, C tier, we got the cameos. You know, those characters that pop up sometimes and you're like, hey, did you see me in that one scene? You know, they made a cameo, that kind of thing. C tier. All right, D tier, we got the extras. I guess this is more what I just said for cameo. Cameo is more like, hey, that famous person stopped in. The extras is more like, hey, did you see me in that one scene? My back was like this and you could kind of see if you squinted real hard. Those are the extras. But guess what? There's a worse tier. Actually, before I make the next tier, it's not an E tier, it's an F tier. So the E tier is this here little gray one. There's nothing in the E tier. It's just there to separate the D tier from the F tier. So for the F tier, I chose this little hot pink color. We have the stagehands. They're not even in the play. They're just helping. That's all. All right, let's get into the tier list. Again, if you want to watch my whole math video, it was about 45 minutes. Feel free. You'll probably know exactly almost what's in this tier list with a few exceptions. All right, first check it. We got Raichu, the promo. Raichu is an extra. It's 140, does 130 damage, does 30 to itself. It's below rate. It's not that good. Yeah. Oh, I should mention, what is the criteria for this tier list? Is it meta contribution? Is it just raw power? Is it synergy with other decks? Well, it kind of the middle one. Basically, again, if you looked at my math video, I'm evaluating these cards mathematically, so I literally have a formula if you check it out. And so basically, I'm just ranking lowest to highest number. So or highest to lowest, however you want to look at it. But these are, I'm mathematically valuing these cards, and then when they're the same, then I'm making some deductions. But I'm all that to say, I'm valuing the cards in a nutshell mathematically. I'm not counting synergy. I'm not counting meta implications. I'm just valuing them as a standalone card in the game of Pokemon Pocket minus everything else. That's how I'm doing this tier list. Now let's move on. So I literally got to this next one, Bibarel EX, and I realized that it is the only Stage 1 that I forgot to put in my math video and on this tier list, and so I have now added it to my math on my heuristics document. Can't put it back in the video, but I literally didn't even have it on my document. Poor Bibarel. Well, it's here now. I've evaluated it, and guess what? It's a stagehand. It's just not good. Let me adjust this tier list. There we go. Now you can see it in all its glory. It's just, Bibarel is just not good, right? It's not good. Like, you can play it, you know, it's okay. If you want to build like a super tanky deck around it, you know, knock yourself out. It's just not that good. So there you go. It's a stagehand. It's the first one. All right, next we got Licky Licky. We're just gonna go ahead, knock out those stagehands. Licky Licky, stagehand number 2. Just not good. It's not good. It costs 4, just like Bibarel. It can do a lot of damage sometimes, but it's a lot less consistent. Just not good. Yeah, I don't know. Like, even with Rampers, just not great. You can try, but knock yourself out. All right, guess what? We got the third, and I'm gonna spoil it, the last stagehand, but I would say Wigglytuff is the strongest stagehand because it only costs 3 energy. Yes, it only does 80 damage, which is not good, but it puts the defending Pokemon to sleep, which is sometimes pretty good, and it only costs 3, which is okay. So it's not good. In fact, I was wrong. I'm sorry. I just added Bibarel to my video. I did it wrong. It's right here. I would say Bibarel is a little better. Not by much. Neither's good, but There you go. It's in the middle of the stagehand, so second to last. And guess what? That is all the stagehands, so it's only up from here. All right, moving on. Probopass. Probopass is a camo. It's a camo. I think Probopass is decent. You know, it's 3 costs, you know, 90 damage. It's not great, but it's okay. It takes -20 the next turn. It's not bad. It's a very mid C tier type of Pokemon. Man, this tier list is expanding, can take over my whole screen. All right, next we got Alolan Dugtrio. It's an extra. I would put it in the stagehands, but it's slightly better, but man, not by much. This Pokemon is not good. Like, if you like flipping coins, if you want to run Will, congrats, then go for it, but this Pokemon just not good. Yeah, that's about it. It's not good. Weevil. Next we have our first supporting character. Weevil is not bad. I could be overvaluing it. It could be a camo, it could be a C tier, but I think it's a B tier. I think it's decent, so we're gonna keep it there. 1 energy, can do up to 80, 70, can do up to 70. It's not too bad, especially with Rocky Helmets. You guys notice how the tier list keeps taking up more and more of my screen on the side. All right, Umbreon, we got A tier, baby. It's a protagonist. Umbreon's good. It's one of my favorite Pokemon to play. I have it in one of my decks with baby Umbreon. I've showcased it on the channel if you want to go watch that video. One of my favorites. It's Cyrus on a stick. It's not like top meta or anything, but in a nutshell, I think it's really good. It's fun. It's my kind of Pokemon. I like disruptive Pokemon, if you didn't know that. And so I think it's an A tier for sure. In a vacuum, again, you could argue synergies, it's lower, maybe higher, it depends, but right now, just in a vacuum, it's good, man. Putting a Pokemon in that S tier is gonna take over my whole screen. All right, next we got Paldean Clodsire. I'm gonna put it here in the supporting characters. I think it is not bad. I could be undervaluing it. I said my math video, if you can find a way to poison your opponent's Pokemon more than sometimes, then this could be a higher Pokemon, maybe even A sometimes, but the trick is really how often can you poison your opponent's Pokemon. You probably have to run Poison Barb, the Wooper that poisons, and you know, see if you can get it off, and then, you know, trust that they don't have a Guzma or whatever. But I think it's not bad, but it's got high potential, high retreat, you know, it's okay, but I think it's a B tier for sure. All right, next we got Alolan Muck. It's just almost good, but it's just not, but it is at the top of our extras tier here, and that's where it's planning to stay. So Alolan Muck, 80 damage, you get a random effect. You know, the effects are decent, but it is super random. Sometimes it's irrelevant. Yeah, it's not bad, but it's not really worth running. Overall, it's expensive, it's got a high retreat, it's pretty mid, so it's not good. That's why it's in the D tier. All right, Lycanroc, we are gonna put bottom of our supporting characters, B tier. So I think it's not bad, right? It discards an energy, but it does pretty good damage. It's not bad. It's got some tanky health. It's only 3 cost, which isn't great, and they haven't given us a fighting ramper yet. Maybe they will. They should, because fighting needs a fighting ramper, or at least I think it does. I mean, maybe they think it's too OP, but I doubt it. So anyway, there's Lycanroc. I think it's not a bad Pokemon. So here it is in the B tier. All right, Lucario. Again, this might raise some eyebrows, but we're going A tier for Lucario. It's a protagonist. Yes, it costs 3. Yes, that's a problem. Yes, it only does 100, but it does 100 and it does 30 to the bench. So again, mathematically, I value doing damage to the bench the same as the active. You could argue that's different, especially with Cyrus, though. It's pretty darn good. And you can knock out, you know, potentially 2 Pokemon in one. Also, notably, this can knock out a baby Pokemon while doing 100 to the active. I think Lucario's good. You would have to build around it for it to be a really good deck, but I think it's pretty solid, so it's going to be here in the A tier. All right, Donphan, another fighter. We got top of the supporting characters, the B tier. I think Donphan's good. It's got some flexibility. It's got a 1 for 50 functionally and a 3 for 110, so it's not bad. It's got some health. You know, it's a good Pokemon. It's not great, but it's good. It's a solid all-rounder. It's a solid B tier. All right, Aerodactyl. Again, this is in a vacuum. You gotta watch my math video if any of this is like, why are you doing that? Because I explain what I'm doing in that video. So Aerodactyl is a protagonist. It's going here under Lucario. There are definitely metas where this is totally irrelevant. I said in the video, if it evolved from a Pokemon and not a fossil, it would probably be higher in the A tier, but because it's a fossil, it gets kicked down. But I'm just evaluating Aerodactyl in a nutshell, even aside from a fossil, although I probably would bump up its ability if it evolved from a Pokemon. But anyway, Aerodactyl's good, it's relevant, you have to play around it, but it really just depends how fast you get it online. If you get it online turn 3, you're probably cooking, but as long as you're playing an opponent that actually evolves their Pokemon. But if not, then it's just irrelevant. So it really depends, but mathematically I think it's solid. The 140-80, that's pretty typical, only one retreat, so we're putting it bottom of A. All right, Marowak is just bad. It's a cameo, but only just. It flips 2 coins up to 160, bottom of 0. It's like a Alolan Dugtrio, but slightly better, but it's not good. So here we are, bottom of the cameos. I don't like flipping coins. All right, Sylveon. Now, I know what you're thinking. Gotta be the main attraction, right? If you haven't watched my short, if you haven't watched my math video, I'm probably even gonna put a little teaser in the thumbnail. You're thinking main attraction for sure. Again, I'm not doing this by what is the most meta. If I were defining this tier list by what's the most meta defining, what is the longest lasting, what is the most powerful in terms of synergy and the overall meta, Sylveon would be number 1. I'm pretty darn confident it would be number 1, but because I'm doing this just mathematically in a vacuum, then Sylveon is currently going to be top of our protagonist tier. It's very, very good. It's very meta defining, but again, in a vacuum mathematically, I do not think it is the top stage 1, and I don't even think it's top 3. So spoiler alert, strap in, there's your hot take for this video. All right, Mismagius next. I think Mismagius is a solid supporting character. I think it goes above Lycanroc, behind Clodsire. Clodsire just has a lot higher potential. I think Weevil's more consistent, that 1 cost, and Donphan's kind of, I think, the best of the B tier. So Mismagius is good. It's not, it's no Sylveon, it's no Espeon, right? It's kind of the forgotten psychic type now for stage 1, but it's really not bad. So you can definitely play some decks with it, especially with that new supporter. Was in Fantina, Phantasma, whatever. Like it's actually, well, that's probably just non-EX, but regardless, it's not a bad Pokemon, but you just probably would never run it now. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get this one over with because it's next. We got Espeon again. If you watch my short, you know where this is going. This is, in my opinion, the main attraction. And now I can finally extend this tier list all the way. I'm not going to re-explain myself. You got to watch my short or the math video for it, but I think in a vacuum, I said this on the short, I think in a vacuum that Espeon is the strongest stage 1 EX Pokemon as of right now. It is very, very, very good. I could be overvaluing healing. It's entirely possible, but in a vacuum, Espeon is very strong. It carries the Sylveon deck. Like Sylveon draws the cards. I said this so that Espeon can take care of the opponent, especially if you go second with this deck. It is tough. I've played against it a variety of times, and especially because I don't run decks that do a ton of damage, it is very, very difficult to deal with Espeon. So that's my hot take, if you will. But again, just mathematically, I think it's the strongest stage 1 in the game as of now, but I would probably expect the math to go up slowly over time, which is symbolized by 2 of the Pokemon from the latest set on this list. All right, next up we got Lantern EX. Man, I wanted Lantern to be good. It's just too expensive. So it's going here, top of C tier for the time being. And the cameos, probably a little better in Probopass because it's got some high upside, especially paralyzing, but it's just too expensive. You coin flip, the effect is good. If it was 2 costs, I'd be all over this thing, but 3 costs, it's just, you could run it with Pichu. It's not bad, but it's just not quite good enough, which is unfortunate because I really want a good paralyzed Pokemon, but I understand they have to be careful with that effect because it's super strong. All right, Alolan Raichu. We got another Lightning. I think Alolan Raichu belongs right there. It has high upside. It can be much better than this, but it really depends on the meta. It's 3 colorless, which makes it adaptable, but it's expensive. And you got to be against the right opponents. It's not doing enough against the 1-costers, like Mega Blaziken or Crobat or things of that nature. So in the right meta, it's really good, but overall, I have to give it the B tier. All right, Wugtrio, everyone's favorite meme deck, perhaps. Back in the day, I've actually played against a decent amount of Wugtrios, but it's going D. It's going in the extras. It's going right there. It's 50, it's only 150 damage and it's random. So, and it costs 3. So it's like, yeah, you can do some cool stuff with it, but you probably got to run Mantike, and you gotta trust the algorithm because I don't like random. There's a reason people aren't really playing it. So It's gonna go right here. All right, Crabominable. Initially, I had it kind of B tier, maybe top of C, probably B tier, but I did some examining, I did some tweaking my math, and I think it goes right here in the A, bottom of the A in the protagonist. I think Crabominable is really solid. It's often doing 80 damage. It's got decent health. It's got 160. It's not too shabby. So I really think the crab is not bad. You know, it's tough to take down sometimes. You got some Iridas, you're doing 80 over and over again. It's pretty tough. So, and then you got to get through 2 of them. It's not meta, right? It's one of those Pokemon that you can kind of come back to and have decent results with. So here it goes in the A tier. All right, Glaceon EX, everyone's favorite EV evolution. I did this Glaceon featured in one of my shorts recently, just because it so happened to be there on while I was explaining things in that order. Anyway, this, you know, could be higher than some people think, but I'm going to put it right here in front of a Alolan Raichu. Don't worry, it is the lowest EV evolution, but I think it's really not bad. I know Glaceon gets crap, but it's not too bad. I think the only EV evolution EX we're waiting for is Vaporeon, but you know, ideally Vaporeon will be better than Glaceon, but Glaceon's not bad, you know? It's not amazing. I wouldn't necessarily say run it, but especially if they gave like another good EV water evolution and like a Vaporeon, I could see it being a thing potentially. So, you know, it might be like a poor man's Sylveon Espeon deck if they give a good Vaporeon EX, so we'll see. It's probably underrated, but it's not good, so I can't put it higher than this, but it's better than, I think, a decent amount of EX Pokemon in the game. All right, big boy Gyarados EX, it had its time in the sun before I played. I'm gonna put it right here between Aerodactyl and Crab. Now, you know, it's because of Magikarp. If I were ranking with the previous evolutions, I would probably drop it lower. I think I said that in the math video, but in a nutshell, it costs 4, which is super pricey, but again, like the Mega, once you get it online, man, this thing's doing work. Even the discard energy, it's like it's not good, right? Because it can hurt you, but even if you're just, you know, slapping 140 at your opponent, like that's tough to get through. So it's kind of a poor man's Mega Gyarados, and it is too expensive even with Mantike and stuff, but it's still a good Pokemon. It's something you can run, and yeah, I think it's still A tier. It's just not relevant right now. All right, Starmie is simple. I think it's not bad. It's going right here below Donphan and the the supporting characters, the B tier. I think it's good. I like the simplicity. I really like simplicity, and so the 0 retreat is good. 90 damage for 2 is not amazing, but it's not bad. It's you know, like Kingdra, but it can't retreat, and it's got a little less HP, but it's not a bad Pokemon. So now 130 is a little suspect. If it had 140, I would probably have it in the A tier, but 130 is a little suspect, but you know, it's not bad. It's not a bad Pokemon. It's pretty quick, so yeah, it could see some use. Probably not, but it's pretty decent Pokemon. All right, Flareon EX, I'm gonna put it, I just had it below Lucario, but don't worry, I did a little thinking and I changed my mind. I'm gonna put it right here behind Umbreon. Yes, you could argue it's better than Umbreon, but hey, we got our EVs right here. We look at Eevee. We got, this is my math, but look at Eevee. We got Espeon, Sylveon, Umbreon, Flareon, and then Glaceon down here. But I think in a vacuum, I think Umbreon is, you could argue Flareon's better. I don't think you can argue it's better than Sylveon, but you could definitely argue it's better than Umbreon. But it's also weak in some respects because it's damaging itself, and it is very, you know, energy dependent. But Flareon's good. It's good. Yeah, I had to put a lot of thought into how to math this Pokemon out well, and I think I've come to a pretty decent spot. You could argue it's higher, but again, this is just in a vacuum. It's not about synergies. It's a good Pokemon, but I'm gonna put it here towards the top of the A tier. I'm just like now realizing how good Eevee is, because obviously they did the Eevee growth set and they have all the EX except Vaporeon. I'm pretty sure that's the only one, so we'll see if we get that soon. And Eevee's just good, man. It's king of the stage 1s. They were like, we need to help stage 1, let's do Eevee stuff. All right, next we got Arcanine. It's just not good. It's an extra. It's going right here below Wugtrio. You could argue it's above Wugtrio. In fact, I'm going to put it above Wugtrio because it's probably a little better than Wugtrio, but it's not good. It's 150 HP, 120 damage. It's okay, but 3 energy is just an old Pokemon. It's kind of been outshone in the last, you know, many sets, so it's just not that good. All right, Leafeon, guys. Guess what? Another Eevee. We're going to put it up here right between Umbreon and Flareon. Yes, I'm a bit biased towards Umbreon, I admit, but I really think it's a good Pokemon. I think Cyrus is extremely powerful. Umbreon just ends games. So now I am valuing it over the energy generation from both Leafeon and Flareon, although mathematically I'm valuing them the same. So you could argue Umbreon's worse, but it's also 2 costs, although technically Flareon is kind of because of its ability and Leafeon is kind of because of its ability, but nonetheless, this is how we're going to do it for now. I am a little biased, I'll admit that, but I like Leafeon a lot. It's very strong. It's joining our top 5 EV stuff up here, and yeah, it's a good Pokemon. I mean, being able to generate for your bench is just really strong, so very, very solid Pokemon. Yanmega, not great, but it's better than Marowak. It's going in the cameos. It's here in the C tier. You know, it's all right. It's colorless, which is great, but I'd probably say it's worse than Probopass and Lantern for sure. So it's okay. I heard it had maybe some time in the sun a long time ago, but it's just not that good. So, you know, here you go. All right, Executor. I know which tier I have it in. I did debate a little bit, but ultimately, I'm going to put it right here in the B tier, in the middle of the B tier between Clodsire and Mismagius. I think because it's a 1 cost, I have to put it a little higher than I would want to, because like Glaceon's more consistent, Lycanroc, but it's a 1 cost, and so you can really tank behind it. I know there have been some decks with Will with this thing that are not bad, so yeah, I think it's a decent Pokemon, and yeah, so we're gonna put it middle of B tier. Depend if you're rolling hot, if you're rolling heads all the time, it's probably A tier, but that's where we're gonna leave it. All right, we got 6 left. Melmetal, one of the new EX Pokemon. I think it's C tier. I think it's a cameo. I think it's probably top or towards the top of the C tier, but it's okay. It's not bad. If you have a tool at all times, I would put it probably B tier, maybe even up to bottom of A tier, probably B tier, but yeah, probably B tier if you have a tool like all the time. But that's something to ask. You have to rely on building around that and your opponent not having Guzma. So you could argue it's towards the bottom of the B tier, but I think Melmetal is ultimately not that great. And yeah, top of the C tier for now. All right, Dragalge GX. I'm telling you, Dragalge, I still don't know how to say it, but anyway, I've heard other content creators also stumbling over it, but anyway, Dragalge. Again, go watch the math video if this confuses you, but we are gonna put it, this is gonna offend some people. This is in a vacuum. It's not meta implications. So remember that. I'm going to put it right here, top of the A tier. It is going to break up the EV celebration up here. So Dragalge, it's really good. It's 150 HP is no joke. That means it can get over Gyarados. It can get over a hit from Blaziken. It can survive pretty much a hit from most things that I'm aware of. So that 150 is no joke. And then it does 80 damage, which is good. The 2 retreats, unfortunate, but you can play around that. And then it poisons people. So functionally, when they attack you, it's like you could consider as if it's doing 100 over your turn and their turn, which is really solid. And 150 HP, Dragalge is good mathematically. I could be overvaluing poison, but I really think it's solid. So I would expect to see at least some of it if there's a little more poison support or if people kind of start messing around with it. All right, but don't worry, there is more EV. So we have a Jolteon, and Jolteon is going to go here in number 2. It's going to be the top protagonist. Jolteon's very good. You know, it doesn't have its time in the meta right now. 140 HP hurts a little bit. It's 1 less than Dragalge, but it's 1 less retreat, which kind of makes up for it. And you could argue its ability is stronger. I'm valuing them mathematically the same because they kind of both do 20 damage, and then they're passive. I explained this in a short. They're both passively constant, which means they're always operating passively, but they're constant. And so you could argue Jolteon's better than Dragalge. I have them even mathematically, but I really like Jolteon. I'd like to play a deck with it one day if I get a good, you know, stage 1 disruptive lightning Pokemon, but I don't feel like I got one of those right now, so I'm not playing it. But it's really good. It's fun. I've seen some fun decks with it. So yeah, we're putting in number 2. All right, Rapidash. If you're astute, you know where this is going because it's going right behind Lucario because they're basically the same Pokemon. Rapidash just does 10 more damage to the active, and Lucario does 10 more damage to the bench, which, to be fair, 30 to the bench right now is really relevant because of baby Pokemon and stuff. Rapidash is good. I know people are saying it's probably too expensive, right? So if you just look at it in terms of like getting it online for this meta, you could say it's too expensive, but it's got 150 HP. That's no joke. It hits for 110. That's no joke. And you can ping your opponent's bench. And so if you're running through Cyrus, it's not too bad, right? I think these 2 Pokemon here, yes, they're expensive, but you have Magby for Rapidash. Maybe one day we'll get something for Lucario. You could do like a Passimian build with Lucario, but Passimian's kind of tricky. So anyway, I think these Pokemon are good. They are a little more expensive, but I really think they're not bad. So one day maybe they'll see a little bit more play. All right, Whimsicott, top of the cameos right here. You could call this the cheese tier if you want. I think Whimsicott is really good in the right meta, obviously, because it's dependent on retreat costs. In this meta, it's probably not so good, but in a, you know, Guzzlord meta, it's extremely good, which seems like it's almost designed to counter Guzzlord, but I could be undervaluing Whimsicott, but I think it belongs here top of C. You could argue B maybe, but I think top of C is a good spot for it. All right, last but not least is Blissey, and I think unequivocally this is the strongest promo Pokemon. We're gonna put it right here in the cameos also. You know, they need to make more good promos and stuff, but I think Blissey is really, it's okay. I mean, you know, it can heal 60 and it hits for 100. It's like, I guess you could say it's a less consistent Bibarel, but it has 20 more HP, which is really the separator. And yeah, I think it's not bad. So Blissey C tier for me. You can definitely build, I saw people build decks around it and have okay success. So there you go. All right, that is it for our stage 1 tier. What do you think? Feel free to leave your comments. Again, this is mathematically according to the math I have come up with for this game. This is not synergy, it's not meta. This is what I think mathematically, literally just from the numbers. You can check out my math video. Again, I'll shout it out if you want, but this is the tier list I got for the math. So what do you think? What would you change on the parameters that I'm running for this tier list in a vacuum? How you would evaluate these Pokemon? Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? I'm sure there's different opinions. Feel free to leave them in the comments, and let's kick it to the outro. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching this tier list. I appreciate whoever's supporting. If you haven't noticed in the Discord, I'm going to try to keep giving out some cards because I've been given a lot and I'm buying some cards for this content creation. So I'm going to try and keep sharing cards with people. So ideally that's helpful for some of you, but thank you for watching. Feel free to leave comments if you have any. Next week, I'm going to plan to do a Throwback Thursday. I'm not exactly sure what yet, but I think I have a good idea actually now that I say it out loud. So feel free to stick around for that. Again, if you're new, I try to post videos every Thursday morning Eastern time at 9 a.m. That's the goal. So anyway, I think the next set is planning to come out like mid-December, so there might be an extra week or two, and I have a kind of 5-week schedule, so I have a couple ideas cooking for some ways to fill in those weeks, so stay tuned for that. But anyway, thanks for coming along for the ride. Have a good afternoon, a good evening, or a good morning. See ya.